or social media engagement, they start wondering about you've truly moved on. This technique also benefits you by allowing you to heal emotionally and regain your sense of self outside the relationship. 2. The importance of authenticity, genuine growth versus fake detachment. One of the biggest pitfalls when trying to attract an ex back is faking your emotions. If your actions seem staged or forced, your ex will see through them. For example, posting pictures on social media with the intention of making them jealous can often have the opposite effect. If it's obvious that you are trying to prove something, your ex may feel validated in their decision to leave. Instead, focus on personal growth and genuine happiness. Engage in activities you truly enjoy, spend time with friends, and explore new hobbies. When your progress is authentic, it naturally makes you more attractive. Social media strategy. Subtlety is key. Social media can be a powerful tool post-breakup, but it should be used wisely. Instead of posting content directly aimed at getting your ex's attention, share moments that reflect your genuine enjoyment of life. Group pictures without excessive romantic hints at travel or new experiences, positive changes in your life, fitness, hobbies, career advancements. Your ex should perceive that you're moving forward without feeling like it's an act designed to bait them back. 3. From fleeing to focus. The dynamic shift in attraction when someone breaks up with you. They often feel overwhelmed and suffocated, believing they need space. Their natural instinct is to flee from the relationship. However, once they no longer feel pursued, their perspective shifts. Suddenly, the absence of texts, calls, and emotional conversations leaves a void. This creates curiosity. Why aren't they chasing me anymore? Are they over me? Have they found someone else? Instead of running away, your ex might start gravitating back towards you as the fear of loss sets in. The scarcity principle. People value what they perceive as rare or difficult to obtain. If your ex believes they can have you back at any time, there's no urgency to reconsider their decision. However, if they feel like they might lose you for good, they're more likely to question their choice. By moving on, you subconsciously trigger this principle. Your ex may begin to feel that they are the ones being left behind, which can shift their feelings towards rekindling the relationship. 4. The decision is no longer theirs. Reclaiming your power. A breakup often leaves one partner feeling powerless, especially if they were the one who wanted to stay together. If you were trying to win your ex back initially, they may have assumed you would always be there, waiting. Once you accept the breakup and stop chasing them, the power dynamic shifts. Instead of them controlling the narrative, they start to question. What if they really move on? Did I make the wrong choice? Do I still have a chance? Creating doubt and uncertainty. Doubt is a powerful motivator. When your ex sees that you're no longer trying to get them back, they may start second-guessing their decision. The idea that you might be slipping away can create an urgency to act. If they were previously unsure about their feelings, this realization might push them to reconsider. 5. Protecting your future attractiveness. The long-term impact of moving on doesn't just help in the short term. It also has lasting benefits. If you and your ex reconcile, your behavior during the breakup sets the tone for the future. If they see that you are strong, independent, and capable of letting go, they will respect you more. They won't take future breakups lightly. If they know you're capable of walking away, they're less likely to use breakups as manipulation tactics. They'll see you as self-sufficient. Confidence and independence are attractive qualities. They'll be more committed. Knowing they could lose you makes them more invested in maintaining the relationship. Self-respect and emotional growth, regardless of whether your ex comes back or not. Moving on helps you grow. It strengthens your emotional resilience, enhances your self-worth, and opens doors to new possibilities. True healing is not about making someone miss you. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. Whether your ex returns or not, you win either way. Conclusion: can moving on help you attract your ex back? Absolutely. But the key lies in doing it genuinely. When you stop chasing, focus on yourself, and embrace life independently, you create an environment where your ex may start to see you in a new light. However, the true beauty of moving on is that it puts you in a win-win situation. Either your ex realizes your worth and comes back, or you discover that you don't need them to be happy after all. By prioritizing your own growth and happiness, you ensure that whatever happens next, you'll be in a stronger, healthier place. Hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe for your daily dose of power-packed insights. This is a topic many people have asked me about for a long time, so I've decided to share my thoughts on whether no contact works with someone who has borderline personality disorder, BPD. Welcome to Stoic Society. We blend timeless Stoic wisdom with insights into female psychology. We'll explore how Stoicism can help you build inner strength, stay emotionally grounded, and improve your relationships. Plus, I'll give you practical advice on understanding women and even how to win back your ex. No games, just real growth. If you're ready to level up your mind, your emotions, and your relationships, hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe for your daily dose of power-packed insights. What to expect if a person with BPD has broken up with you. Many people struggle with the aftermath of relationships with individuals who have BPD, and understanding the dynamics can help you make informed decisions about your emotional well-being. Understanding borderline personality disorder. Borderline personality disorder is a complex mental health condition characterized by impulsivity, extreme mood swings, and difficulty maintaining stable relationships. Individuals with BPD often struggle with emotional regulation, which can result in intense and unpredictable behavior. Relationships with them can be deeply passionate yet turbulent, filled with both intense affection and sudden emotional withdrawal. Common symptoms of BPD. People with BPD often display the following traits. Fear of abandonment. They may go to extreme lengths to avoid real or perceived abandonment. Unstable relationships. Relationships often swing between idealization, putting a partner on a pedestal, and devaluation, seeing them as worthless. Impulsivity. Engaging in reckless behaviors such as overspending, substance abuse, or self-harm. Emotional instability. Rapid mood swings that can change from intense happiness to deep despair within hours or even minutes. Chronic feelings of emptiness, a sense of inner void that they may try to fill through relationships, thrill-seeking, or self-destructive behaviors. Explosive anger, intense outbursts of anger that are often disproportionate to the situation. Paranoia or dissociation. In times of extreme stress, they may experience paranoia or feel detached from reality. If you suspect your ex has BPD, chances are you've already noticed many of these behaviors throughout your relationship. These emotional patterns make breakups particularly painful and confusing. The double standards of BPD relationships. One of the defining traits of relationships with someone who has BPD is the presence of double standards. You may notice that you are held accountable for every minor mistake, but they feel justified in their own erratic behaviors. If you acted the way they did, the relationship would have likely ended much sooner. When you try to set boundaries, they may react with extreme emotional distress or accusations. This imbalance can make you feel like you're constantly walking on eggshells, afraid to stand up for yourself out of fear of triggering an emotional explosion. The emotional whiplash effect. One of the reasons no contact can be effective is that people with BPD experience extreme emotional shifts. Just because they were adamant about breaking up doesn't mean they won't change their mind quickly, sometimes within days or weeks. You may have already witnessed this in your relationship when they became disproportionately angry over small issues. Pulled away suddenly, only to return with intense affection. Oscillated between love and resentment unpredictably. This emotional volatility means that despite their conviction during the breakup, their feelings could reverse drastically in the near future, should you try to get them back. Being in a relationship with someone who has BPD is incredibly challenging. If they have broken up with you, my honest recommendation is to move on. Most people cannot sustain the level of effort required to maintain a relationship with someone who has BPD without sacrificing their well-being. However, if you are determined to get them back, you need to recognize that their behavior may have conditioned you into tolerating mistreatment. Why do people want to go back? Many people struggle to let go of relationships with BPD partners because the highs of the relationship were incredibly intense and euphoric. The love bombing phase made you feel uniquely special. The cycle of breaking up and reuniting became addictive. You believe you are the only person who truly understands them. These factors can create a strong emotional bond, making it difficult to break free even if the relationship was toxic. The problem with tolerating mistreatment: if a person with BPD sees that you tolerate their mistreatment, they may view you as weak or easily manipulated, compare you to past figures in their life who failed to set boundaries, lose respect for you over time. People with BPD are often drawn to strength. While they may initially be attracted to those who are nurturing and forgiving, they ultimately respect those who uphold their boundaries and refuse to tolerate disrespect. The importance of accountability, holding a person with BPD accountable for their words and actions, is critical. If they break up with you, they need to experience the consequences of their decision. Why no contact works: going into no contact, fully and without breaking it, ensures they understand the weight of their actions. Ideally, no contact should last at least 2 to 3 months, but in many cases, you should consider it permanent. If they do not reach out, accept that the relationship is over. If they do reach out, it should be because they genuinely want to repair the relationship, not because they need validation or control. Does it matter if they are diagnosed? At the end of the day, does it really matter if they have a formal BPD diagnosis? If someone consistently mistreats you, disregards your boundaries, and subjects you to emotional turmoil, is that the kind of relationship you truly want? Naming the disorder doesn't change the behavior or the consequences of staying in a toxic relationship. Instead of focusing on whether they have an official diagnosis, consider: how do they treat you? Do you feel emotionally safe with them? Are they capable of a healthy, stable relationship? If the answer to these questions is no, then it may be best to move on regardless of their mental health status. Breaking free from the cycle: if they have broken up with you, this could be your opportunity to escape the cycle. It can be tempting to chase after them, especially when you remember the good times. However, recognize that if you try to move on, they may attempt to pull you back in, not necessarily because they love you, but because they seek validation. This cycle can be exhausting and psychologically damaging. The best way to break free is to prioritize yourself and establish firm boundaries. How to heal after a BPD relationship: allow yourself to grieve. Acknowledge your feelings and give yourself time to process the loss. Educate yourself on BPD relationships. Understanding what you went through can help you move on. Seek support. Consider therapy or support groups to help you heal. Avoid romanticizing the past. Focus on the reality of the relationship, not just the good. Engage in self-care. Prioritize activities that bring you peace and happiness. Final thoughts: no contact works with someone who has BPD because of their emotional extremes and need for validation. If you want them back, it can be effective, But you must be prepared for the ongoing challenges. And more importantly, ask yourself if returning to the relationship is truly in your best interest. Breaking free from a BPD relationship can be one of the most difficult yet empowering experiences. If you are struggling with no contact, remember your peace and mental health matter more than rekindling a relationship that may continue to bring emotional chaos. Choose yourself first. Hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe for your daily dose of power-packed insights. No contact is one of the most effective strategies for healing after a breakup. It helps you regain emotional stability, focus on yourself, and detach from the past. However, many people find that their ex does not always make this process easy. Welcome to Stoic Society. We blend timeless Stoic wisdom with insights into female psychology. We'll explore how Stoicism can help you build inner strength, stay emotionally grounded, and improve your relationships. Plus, I'll give you practical advice on understanding women and even how to win back your ex. No games, just real growth. If you're ready to level up your mind, your emotions, and your relationships, hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe for your daily dose of power-packed insights. Instead of respecting the boundaries set by no contact, they engage in behaviors that range from subtle hints to outright attempts to rekindle communication. In this video, we'll break down why your ex might be trying to break no contact, the psychology behind their actions, and how you should handle these situations to maintain control over your healing process. 1. They want you to take the risk. One of the most common reasons an ex might engage in subtle contact is that they want to reconnect, but are afraid of rejection. They may still have lingering feelings but hesitate to reach out directly because they don't want to risk being ignored or turned down, especially if they were the one who ended the relationship. Breaking up with someone is often an act of power, but once time passes, that same person might find themselves regretting their decision. The fear of rejection becomes stronger because they assume that you might not welcome them back. Ironically, even though they rejected you initially, they are now hesitant to experience rejection themselves. To avoid putting themselves in a vulnerable position, they engage in indirect behaviors that nudge you toward making the first move. These behaviors include liking or commenting on your social media posts, watching your Instagram stories or TikToks but never directly reaching out, sending you a vague message such as, "Hey, how have you been?" without further effort, sending a song or meme that reminds them of you, hoping you take the hint. By doing this, they create an opening but shift the responsibility onto you. If you take the bait and respond, they can gauge your interest without exposing their own feelings too much. If you don't respond, they don't lose anything, at least not directly. How to handle this? If your ex truly wants to reconcile, they need to take responsibility and reach out in a direct, mature way. If they are only dropping breadcrumbs, don't pick them up. Maintain your boundaries and only entertain serious, intentional efforts, too. Feeding their ego. Another common reason an ex might attempt to break no contact is to feed their ego. Some people struggle with the idea that their former partner is doing just fine without them. When you go silent, seem happy, and show signs of moving on, it can trigger insecurity in them. For someone who thrives on validation, the thought of you being indifferent to their absence is unsettling. They might check in subtly just to see if you respond. Try to spark jealousy by posting about their amazing life post-breakup. Use social media to get a reaction, such as posting nostalgic quotes, inside jokes, or even sad songs. This behavior is not about genuine care. It's about ensuring they still have an emotional hold over you. If they can get a response, even anger or frustration, It reassures them that they still matter to you in some way. How to handle this? Be mindful of what you post online. Don't vent about your feelings, post sad quotes, or make indirect references to your ex. The less emotional response you give them, the faster they will realize that their tactics are ineffective. 3. Signs of manipulation via genuine contact. Not all attempts at contact are genuine. Sometimes an ex reaches out not because they miss you, but because they want to manipulate your emotions. Signs of manipulation include sending vague messages like, "Hope you're doing okay," without making an effort to have a real conversation. Claiming they need closure but refusing to have an open, honest discussion. Apologizing without any real accountability for their past actions. Using guilt tactics such as saying they're struggling because of the breakup. On the other hand, genuine attempts at reconciliation will be clear and intentional. If they truly want to reconnect, they will clearly express what they want and why. Apologize with sincerity and without expectation. Be consistent in their actions, not just drop in and out. How to handle this? Evaluate their message based on clarity, consistency, and accountability. If it feels like manipulation or an attempt to get a reaction rather than genuine outreach, do not engage. 4. Using friends as a messenger sometimes instead of contacting you directly. An ex will use mutual friends to send messages. This can take several forms. They casually ask about you in conversations, knowing the friend will report back. They express regret or nostalgia, hoping the friend will relay their words. They strategically show up at group gatherings where they know you'll be. This approach allows them to stay in your orbit without committing to direct communication. If they truly wanted to talk, they would reach out themselves. Instead, they use friends as a way to test the waters. How to handle this? If a mutual friend brings up your ex's comments, don't take the bait. Simply respond with something neutral like, "That's interesting," or "I hope they're doing well." If your ex really wants to reconnect, they'll find a way to do it themselves. 5. Accidental encounters. Another tactic exes use is conveniently appearing in places where they know you'll be. This might include showing up at your favorite coffee shop at the same time you usually go, attending events where they know you'll be present, suddenly becoming more active in circles of mutual friends. Some of these encounters might be pure coincidence, but if it happens repeatedly, it's likely intentional. Your ex might be trying to gauge your reaction, hoping you'll make the first move. How to handle this? If you run into them, be polite but distant. Keep the conversation short, neutral, and non-emotional. The less reaction you give, the less power they have over you. Final thoughts: stay in control. Understanding these behaviors can help you maintain no contact effectively. If your ex truly wants to reconcile, they will take clear, intentional steps to do so. No contact is not about punishing your ex. It's about prioritizing yourself. In the meantime, focus on building your confidence and self-worth, engaging in hobbies and activities that bring you joy, strengthening your relationships with friends and family. Your ex's attempts to break no contact are only as effective as the attention you give them. Stay strong, set clear boundaries, and remember that you have the power to decide who belongs in your life. If they truly want you back, they will make it clear. Until then, focus on yourself and keep moving forward. Hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe for your daily dose of power-packed insights. In the complex world of relationships, breakups are an unfortunate reality that many people face. The pain of an emotional separation often results in an overwhelming need for closure, understanding, and the desire to restore things to the way they were. Welcome. Want to take control of your relationships? Subscribe and discover how the Stoic Covenant can help you create deeper, more meaningful connections. We'll explore how Stoicism can help you build inner strength, stay emotionally grounded, and improve your relationships. Plus, I'll give you practical advice on understanding women and even how to win back your ex. No games, just real growth. After a breakup, it's easy to feel helpless or powerless, especially if the breakup was unexpected or if you were the one left behind. But one of the most effective strategies for navigating the post breakup period, especially when trying to gain perspective and regain control, is radio silence. Radio silence is a powerful tool in the aftermath of a breakup, particularly when it is coupled with the no contact rule. When executed effectively, it disrupts expectations, creates psychological voids, and forces your ex to confront the emotional consequences of their decision. In this expanded version, we will dive deep into how radio silence affects your ex and how it enhances the no contact rule to bring about the emotional impact you might be hoping for. 1. Breaking the seek and find pattern in today's digital age. Information is readily accessible, and the world has become accustomed to instant gratification. Whether it's through a quick Google search, an incessant scroll on social media, or even just sending a text, we are all conditioned to believe that answers should be available at the snap of our fingers. We expect to be able to access information whenever we want, and this expectation has permeated the way we engage with our relationships as well. When you and your ex were together, this would have been no different. They were accustomed to your presence, to the regular flow of texts, to your social media updates, and even to the occasional message checking in on how their day went. When you decide to go radio silent after the breakup, you completely disrupt this expectation. This is one of the primary ways that radio silence impacts your ex emotionally. The sudden absence of your presence, no texts, no social media updates, no calls, leaves a gaping void that they are left to fill. They can no longer satisfy their curiosity by browsing your social media for updates or hearing your voice in an everyday message. They are left wondering, what are you doing? How are you handling the breakup? Frustration begins to seep in as they no longer have access to the answers they had grown so accustomed to, and this frustration is powerful. It becomes a consequence of the breakup, something they may not have anticipated. What they once had is now out of reach, and this triggers a range of emotions, from confusion to frustration and even longing. The absence of that easy access forces your ex to confront the emptiness left by your sudden disappearance, thus amplifying the emotional impact of the breakup. The key here is that frustration isn't inherently negative. It can be a powerful catalyst for change. As humans, we are hardwired to avoid discomfort, and this frustration will compel your ex to think about you more frequently, which may prompt them to reconsider their decision to break up. 2. Creating a psychological void. The human mind has an interesting way of reacting to absence. If something was once present and suddenly disappears, our brains become fixated on it. This psychological phenomenon can be seen in countless situations, from the loss of a cherished item to the absence of a familiar face. The same principle applies to relationships. When someone we care about is no longer in our lives, our minds naturally try to fill that gap, and often this fixation becomes obsessive. For your ex, this avoidee is both an emotional and mental space that they will instinctively begin to fill with thoughts about you. When they no longer have access to updates about your life or communication from you, they start to wonder about your whereabouts, your feelings, and how you are coping with the breakup. This psychological void can be particularly potent. If your ex initially felt a sense of relief after the breakup, They might have thought that breaking up would bring them peace, but your sudden disappearance and the absence of any attempt to reach out to them subtly disrupts that peace. The relief they initially felt may start to give way to confusion as they are now confronted with the reality of their own choices. The longer this void persists, the more likely they are to fixate on the question, what is the other person doing? A key factor here is unpredictability. Most people expect that after a breakup, the other person will try to fix at things, whether through pleading, texting, or trying to stay connected. When you don't do any of these things, it shatters their expectations and makes you appear unpredictable. Unpredictability, as uncomfortable as it may be, tends to spark curiosity. This is why silence can be so powerful. It forces your ex to confront the uncertainty of not knowing your feelings or actions, something they likely took for granted while you were together. 3. Preventing closure. One of the most sought-after goals following a breakup is closure. Both parties often seek it in various forms, sometimes directly through a conversation, sometimes by seeking reassurance through mutual friends or social media updates. But closure is a double-edged sword. While it may offer the illusion of finality, closure often leaves more questions than answers. When you engage in radio silence, you essentially deny your ex the closure they might have been hoping for. They no longer have access to your thoughts, your emotional state, or even the validation of seeing you move on through social media. By keeping them in the dark, you prevent them from mentally closing the chapter on your relationship, which means they are left hanging. The absence of definitive answers only fuels their desire for closure. The problem is, they no longer have the ability to get that closure from you directly. Without the closure they expect, your ex may feel as though the door to reconciliation is still open. They may even find themselves questioning whether you are still emotionally invested or if they made a hasty decision. If your ex has been following your life on social media, they will no longer get the updates that let them know you are moving on or struggling. Instead, they're left to wonder whether you're still available emotionally and what you might be thinking. This lack of closure doesn't just prolong emotional uncertainty, it can also cause your ex to experience a resurgence of feelings that were buried beneath the surface during the breakup process. By withholding this emotional closure, you leave room for the possibility of reconsideration. 4. Triggering the fear of missing out. FOMO, fear of missing out, or FOMO, is one of the most powerful psychological triggers. In the digital age, this feeling has been amplified by social media, where people constantly see what others are doing, feeling, and experiencing in real time. It creates a sense of urgency and sometimes insecurity as people are bombarded with glimpses of other people's seemingly perfect lives. When you go radio silent, especially in the context of social media, you trigger FOMO in your ex. They no longer have access to your life in real time, and they begin to wonder if you are enjoying yourself, meeting new people, or living a life full of new experiences without them. The thought of you thriving without them can be unsettling and can make them question their decision to break up. The key here is that humans don't like to feel left out. Your ex may begin to imagine all the exciting things you might be doing and wonder whether they made a mistake by ending the relationship. This can lead them to experience a significant emotional shift as they grapple with the thought of missing out on your life. It creates a sense of urgency in their mind, prompting them to consider reaching out to you before it's too late. 5. Creating the illusion of inaccessibility. One of the most powerful aspects of radio silence is how it makes you appear completely unreachable. While you may not have blocked your ex, the sheer absence of communication and updates makes it feel as though you are out of their reach. This sense of inaccessibility is an emotional barrier that compels your ex to reconsider the boundaries of your relationship. Initially, they may justify the distance by telling themselves they don't want to lead you on, or they may believe that they made the right decision by walking away. However, as time passes and their frustration and curiosity continue to grow, they may begin to question whether they can still reach out to you or if you've truly moved on. The less accessible you appear, the stronger their desire to reconnect becomes. This sense of being out of reach creates an emotional challenge for your ex. It makes them confront the reality of their actions and forces them to make a decision. Do they want to try to reconnect, or do they allow you to slip completely out of their lives? In some cases, this can trigger a realization of what they've lost and ignite a desire to rekindle the relationship. Final thoughts: radio silence isn't a manipulative tactic, it's a tool for emotional healing, boundary setting, and self preservation. By removing yourself from your ex's life, you allow them to experience the true consequences of their actions, which might include feelings of regret, confusion, and longing. The absence you create forces them to confront the emotional realities of their decisions, often leading them to reconsider whether breaking up was the right choice. If your ultimate goal is to make your ex realize the value of the relationship and understand what they've lost, then radio silence can be an incredibly effective strategy. But remember, it's not about playing games. It's about taking control of your emotional well being and allowing your ex to experience the full weight of their decision. Stay strong, stay silent, and let them feel your absence in ways they never expected. When executed correctly, radio silence allows for personal growth, self reflection, and ultimately the emotional space to move forward, whether that's moving on from the relationship entirely or potentially rekindling the connection down the road. Hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe for your daily dose of power-packed insights. Breakups can be one of the most emotionally painful experiences a person can go through. The end of a relationship brings about an overwhelming sense of loss, confusion, and sadness. Welcome to Stoic Society. We blend timeless Stoic wisdom with insights into female psychology. We'll explore how Stoicism can help you build inner strength, stay emotionally grounded, and improve your relationships. Plus, I'll give you practical advice on understanding women and even how to win back your ex. No games, just real growth. If you're ready to level up your mind, your emotions, and your relationships, hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe for your daily dose of power-packed insights. The thought of never being with someone you once shared so much with can leave you questioning everything about yourself, your life, and your future. Many people, in an attempt to salvage the relationship, make the mistake of clinging to their ex, desperately trying to get them back. But in many cases, the most effective, though hardest, thing you can do after a breakup is embrace silence. The no contact rule, where you take a complete break from reaching out to your ex for a set period, can be transformative. It allows you to regain your strength, focus on healing, and even potentially restore the relationship. Gone through the of justifying it to themselves. They've already had those difficult conversations in their head, and they've likely thought of every possible scenario. So, when you try to talk them out of it, you're engaging with someone who has been processing this situation for far longer than you have. In essence, their decision is already made, and your words, no matter how heartfelt or logical, are often not going to change their mind. But what does work? Silence. When you step back and give your ex the space they need, it allows them to process their emotions and thoughts in a way that's entirely their own. And ironically, your absence can speak louder than any words ever could. They can feel the absence of your presence in their life, which can trigger a series of emotions and reflections that may not have been apparent before. 2. Silence triggers doubt, and second guessing, the second key point, is how silence can trigger doubt and second guessing in your ex's mind. Often, when a breakup happens, one of the immediate expectations is that the other person will chase, plead, or beg for the relationship to continue. In most cases, this is driven by the natural human desire for reassurance, for validation, and for the hope that things can be fixed. However, when you do the opposite, when you embrace silence and refuse to engage, they start to question the situation in a way that they never expected. Instead of seeing you as someone desperate for their attention, they start to see you as strong, independent, and dignified. Silence disrupts the without you. This distance creates a void, and if there was any lingering emotional attachment or attraction, it has the potential to resurface. Breakups are rarely the result of a complete lack of feelings. In many cases, they occur because of doubts, misunderstandings, or frustrations that have been building up. When you remove yourself from the equation, those doubts can begin to shift. Your ex may start to wonder, did I make the right choice? This shift in mindset, this questioning and doubt, can create the conditions needed for them to reconsider their decision. Silence gives them the emotional space to rethink everything. It allows them to second guess the breakup and wonder whether they truly want to move on. 3. The fear of being forgotten is unfounded. One of the biggest concerns that people have when applying the no contact rule is the fear that their ex will forget about them. After all, if they're not reaching out to their ex, how will they know that they still care? What if their ex finds someone new and completely moves on? It's a valid fear, but the truth is that your ex doesn't have amnesia. They remember you. They remember the relationship, the experiences you shared, and the connection that existed. These memories aren't going anywhere, and they won't fade just because you're not in constant contact. The problem comes when you keep reminding them of your presence. If you text them repeatedly, call them nonstop, or show up unannounced in an attempt to stay in their life, you risk turning into an annoyance rather than someone they miss. Just like when you've had enough to eat, the idea of being forced to take another bite doesn't make the food more appealing. In fact, it makes you want to push it away. When you constantly push yourself into their space after they've asked for space, you are only pushing them further away. They will start to associate you with feelings of overwhelm, guilt, or pressure. And none of those emotions are conducive to rekindling a relationship. Silence, on the other hand, works in the opposite way. By removing yourself, you give your ex the opportunity to miss you. The emotional and chemical bonds formed during the relationship, like dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin, are still there, and absence can trigger those feelings of longing again. Your ex will start to notice the void you left behind, and that absence can reignite their desire for you. This is the natural result of allowing time and space for emotions to settle and for the memory of you to grow fonder. 4. The concern that silence means you don't care. Another common fear after a breakup is that silence may be interpreted as indifference or that you no longer care about your ex. You might worry that if you don't constantly express your feelings, they'll think you've moved on or don't value the relationship. But here's the thing, after a breakup, you've likely already expressed your feelings. Whether it's through conversations, texts, or actions, your ex already knows that you care. Repeating it over and over again won't suddenly change their mind. In fact, it may actually reinforce their decision to end things. Imagine this. You're not attracted to someone, but they constantly profess their love for you. Does that make you want to be with them? Probably not. Attraction isn't about how much someone loves you, it's about how they make you feel. If the attraction has faded, words alone won't bring it back. Silence, however, provides the space for both of you to reflect and reconsider what the relationship meant. By stepping away, you create an opportunity for them to reimagine the feelings they once had for you. Silence allows both of you to heal, process your emotions, and to a clearer understanding of what the relationship was, what went wrong, and whether there's a chance for a healthier connection in the future. 5. The fear that they will move on. One of the most common worries people have when embracing silence is the fear that their ex will move on with someone else. After all, if you're not in constant contact, how can you compete with someone new? What if they find someone who makes them happier or more fulfilled? The truth is, you cannot control another person's actions. You cannot force them to stay or choose you over someone else. And while this is difficult to accept, trying to hold on too tightly or monitor their every move only makes you less attractive. Desperation and insecurity are rarely appealing qualities, and they can push your ex further away. But here's where silence actually works in your favor. If your ex truly wants to move on, silence is the best strategy because it gives them the space to do so without you constantly reminding them of what they had. If there were genuine feelings of love, those feelings don't disappear overnight. They need time and space to cool down, to process the breakup, and sometimes to rediscover what they lost. By embracing silence, you give them the freedom to reflect on the relationship and make decisions without feeling pressure. If the emotional bond between you two was strong, silence might just create the conditions necessary for them to miss you and, in time, reconsider the decision to move on. The power of walking away. In conclusion, silence isn't about playing games. It's not about trying to manipulate your ex into coming back. Silence is about creating the conditions necessary for healing, clarity, and ultimately reconciliation. By refusing to engage in desperate behaviors or emotionally charged confrontations, you show strength, confidence, and self-respect, qualities that are inherently attractive. When you embrace the no contact rule, you allow emotional attraction to rebuild. Quote, you break the cycle of desperation and position yourself as someone who is worth missing. Whether your goal is to get your ex back or simply to heal and grow as a person, silence is one of the most powerful tools at your disposal. So, if you're serious about your journey toward healing or even reconciliation, trust in the power of silence. Trust that, in time, it will work in your favor. You remember, silence is not about abandoning hope. It's about trusting the process. Trust it, embrace it, and let it work in your favor. Hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe for your daily dose of power-packed insights. Today, I'm diving into a topic that many of us either experience firsthand or watch happen in the lives of others. The pain that your ex experiences post-breakup, even if they don't openly admit it. It's a difficult reality to come to terms with, especially if you've been the one hurt by the breakup. But understanding the emotional journey that your ex is going through can provide you with a sense of peace, clarity, and a deeper perspective on how breakups work. Welcome to Stoic Society. We blend timeless Stoic wisdom with insights into female psychology. We'll explore how Stoicism can help you build inner strength, stay emotionally grounded, and improve your relationships. Plus, I'll give you practical advice on understanding women and even how to win back your ex. No games, just real growth. If you're ready to level up your mind, your emotions, and your relationships, hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe for your daily dose of power-packed insights. While every situation is unique, today I'll be focusing on breakups where the relationship was generally positive, but over time, feelings seem to fade. It's one of the most common and emotionally complex. types of breakups, and it often leads to both parties experiencing an emotional roller coaster. Listening, if you're trying to navigate this difficult situation, let's explore the emotional struggles your ex may be going through. Understanding these feelings can not only help you make sense of your own emotions, but also give you the tools you need to approach the situation in a healthy and constructive way. 1. The pain of uncertainty. One of life's greatest frustrations is uncertainty. In the wake of a breakup, your ex may feel like they've lost the compass that once guided their emotional life. At first, they may feel relief, especially if they were the one who initiated the breakup. But as time passes, especially if you've implemented the no contact rule or taken space from them, that relief can quickly give way to doubt and anxiety. What your ex is really feeling. Even if your ex broke up with you, they might find themselves grappling with feelings of regret or confusion as they process the situation. Doubts creep in. Did they make the right decision? What if they were too quick to end things? Over time, your ex may start to question whether they made a rash decision, especially if they see you moving forward with your life. If they're the one who initiated the breakup, they might also fear that they've made a mistake by pushing you away. The fear of losing you permanently can create deep anxiety. For many people, the fear of irreversibility, the sense that something can never be undone, becomes a powerful emotional trigger. Your ex could become fixated on the idea that they'll never get another chance with you. This fear can lead to self-doubt and emotional turmoil, forcing them to reconsider their choices. How this uncertainty plays out. For some, this uncertainty can create a kind of emotional clock that ticks louder as time goes on. They may feel the pressure to decide whether they want to try to reconcile or continue living with their decision. The longer the uncertainty lingers, the more likely they are to feel the weight of what they lost, especially if they still have feelings for you. However, the trick here is not to fall into the trap of chasing after them. Allowing your ex to sit with their doubts gives them space to come to terms with their decision. They need to process those emotions on their own. If you're constantly available to offer reassurance or validation, they may never have the time or emotional distance to realize what they truly want. 2. The emotional crash. After the initial phase of relief, there often comes an emotional crash. This is when the high of being free fades and your ex begins to feel the weight of their decision. They may experience waves of depression, sadness, or even regret. Nostalgia sets in, and they might start remembering the good times in the relationship, wondering if they were too quick to walk away. What your ex is really feeling, your ex may feel emotionally drained. When a relationship ends, even under seemingly positive circumstances, there's a psychological hangover that often follows. They may feel guilty for ending things, especially if they did not have clear reasons for the breakup or if their feelings for you were still intact. This emotional crash can be hard to admit, especially if they don't want to appear weak or indecisive. In this phase, your ex might reach out to you in moments of vulnerability. They could send a text, give you a call, or even try to make casual contact. But these gestures are often driven by their need for comfort and reassurance rather than a genuine desire to rekindle the relationship. They may not fully understand the depth of their emotions, but they do know that something feels off. How to navigate this? If your ex reaches out during this phase, it's essential to remain calm and composed. You don't want to be reactive, nor do you want to rush into reconciling. Allow them to process their emotions without putting yourself in a position where you're constantly comforting them. Sometimes the best thing you can do for your ex is to let them experience the full weight of their emotional crash. This may help them gain perspective and clarity on whether they truly want you back or if they are just struggling with the loss of familiarity. 3. The fading effect bias psychologists have identified a phenomenon called the fading effect bias, which suggests that negative emotions tend to fade faster than positive ones. Over time, as your ex processes the breakup, their negative feelings about the relationship, like frustration, disappointment, or anger, tend to diminish. Meanwhile, the positive memories of your time together, like the love, laughter, and connection you shared, become more vivid in their mind. What your ex is really feeling. As the days and weeks go by, your ex may start to idealize the relationship. They may begin to forget the reasons why they broke up with you in the first place. Instead, they focus on how good things felt when the relationship was thriving. This is the fading effect bias in action. Negative emotions are replaced by more positive recollections. If they begin to worry that they may have lost you for good, these nostalgic feelings can become a driving force behind wanting to reconnect. However, this doesn't necessarily mean they are ready to reconcile. It may simply be a sign that they miss the familiarity of your presence or the comfort of the relationship. The danger here is that they might mistake nostalgia for love or desire. How to navigate this? If your ex reaches out during this phase, they may not be coming from a place of clarity. It's important to evaluate whether they're simply feeling the pull of nostalgia or if they've truly learned from the breakup. When you interact with them, stay grounded in your own truth. If they're genuinely interested in rekindling the relationship, they'll need to demonstrate that they've grown emotionally and learned from the past. 4. Frustration at confusion. Feeling confused about major life decisions can be incredibly frustrating. Many people believe that when they end a relationship, they're sure about their decision. However, as time passes, doubt and confusion creep in. This is especially true for those